Hi, this is Brandon Moon with Leland Fly Fishing. I want to welcome you to Fly Tying Night tonight. Tonight we're going to be tying up a special pattern, one of my favorites, something that I've caught a lot of fish with this last year and truly enjoyed tying. This is a little play on a grouse and orange or orange and grouse pattern. I know traditionally it's tied with a orange silk, which changes colors, but this pattern just seems to produce for me time and time again, and probably one of my top producing flies last year. So with that, I also want to invite you to like the video, drop us a comment, hit the subscribe button and the bell to receive future notifications, and we'll go ahead and put our hook in the vise. Today I'm going to be using size 14 in the Moonlit Tagata ML102s. I tie this in a 12 and 16 as well and had great success. So I'm going to start my thread about 3/4 of the way down the shank, and I'm going to use Semperfli's Classic Wax 12/0 thread because it builds up less bulk. Single strand twist so it lays nice and flat. This gives me a good even clean profile and body, and I'm just gonna use that tag end to help keep those wraps nice and clean back to the bend of the hook. Trim that out. Now I'm going to take the fluorescent orange 1/32 fluorescent orange mirror tinsel from Semperfli. Very cool tinsel to use. And I'm just going to tie that in, and I want that tag end to be the length where I started. I want it to end there. So I'll just kind of pull that back until it's nice and even there, and then we'll just secure that down. Now I'm just going to create a nice taper to this body with my thread going forward and backwards. I could use an 8/0 thread and do this taper with about 3 tapers. Using the 12/0, I'm going to do it about 4 or 5 times. Now I like this color because fly tying is a form of meditation for me, and I seem to color or tie flies in colors that kind of match where I'm needing to focus my meditation on. So it's an effective fly for me, but it's also a good form of meditation and self-reflection. So we'll just do this about 4 or 5 times. And at the very end of this taper, I want to make sure I leave a good flat surface here at the front, so that when I wrap that tinsel over for the body, it's flat and I'm not going to have it sliding off. Okay, now I'm going to take this tinsel and I want it to be as flat as possible. I don't want a bunch of twists in this. And I'm going to use my rotary feature, and we're going to wrap this forward to the end of where I created and made that body. You can see if I were to go another wrap, it's just going to fall off and pull the rest of my tinsel off, and then I have a mess. So I'm just going to tie that off right there. 2 wraps over the top of the back, and then 2 interlocking or locking wraps in the front. Trim that out. Alright, now I'm going to take some dubbing, and I've combined the vicuna, hot orange, and fiery brown dubbing. I just kind of mix those in together so it's not so orange and gives me a little bit of brown accents. And I'm just going to put a very small amount of dubbing there. Now we'll go ahead and create our thorax. Now you're going to watch, I don't want to bring that dubbing over that bare hook. I'm going to actually wrap this over the top of that tinsel. You can see that's going to leave me basically a quarter of that hook shank right there for me to tie in my hackle. For the hackle on this, I'm using the Grouse, but I'm using this up here towards the neck. Got these nice cool colorations and modeling type effect to it. So I've already pulled one out. I'm going to prep that just like that. Now I'm going to tie that in. Over the top twice and then in front twice. That just locks that in. Now I'm going to snip out that tip of the tie-in point. I'm going to take some hackle pliers. Now I'm just going to kind of preen those fibers rearward. And I'm going to palmer and preen them back every time. I'm going to use each wrap to help push and palmer the previous wrap. Okay, now I've got that. We'll take sometimes your hackle pliers come off and you just got to start all over again. So that's what we'll do. Making sure we're just patient and enjoying the process. Just like before, I want to preen and palmer each wrap. Very thin hackle stem, so I'm using as little amount of pressure as possible. Now I'm just going to take and lock that in. Two wraps over the top. Now I'm going to let go. I'll pull those fibers back and just make a few wraps for my head. Now I can take my whip finish tool, do two whip finishes, take and do another two. You can see this smaller thread allows me to do the extra whip finishes just to help secure that in. Now we can be done like this, minus taking and trimming out that stem. But I want to help secure that knot just a little bit. So I'm just going to put a little bit of Loon head cement on that. Now it's going to seep in there. Now I want to take and get that stem, and I can just pop it and pull it off. I can clean any of the others up that I need to. There you go. Grouse and orange, or orange and grouse, however you want to look at it. I really like the fluorescent glow on this fly in the sunlight. Even the darker days, it seems to catch the fish's attention. You can see the UV light's just going to help that glow. I've just had a lot of success with this pattern, and I want to thank you for taking the time to watch me tie it. I look forward to seeing your comments in the comment section. Make sure and like the video as well. Hit the bell to receive notifications and the subscribe button as well. And we look forward to seeing you next week. And hopefully you can get some of these and tie up your own. Have a great night.